From a man with a little bit of dirt under his fingernails to a like-minded man. I want a few questions. What are some of the jobs you're most proud of? Can you think of one job, actually, that you're most proud of?
I would say 1-800 Ask Gary's house. We did that whole ceiling, on the back lanai. It turned out, it was crazy. It was like 50 feet up in the air.
Oh, man.
What's going on, Sarasota? My name is Brad Hannon.
Trey Martell.
Felipe Colon.
And we got my man Chris Rich from Rich Construction joining us today. What's going on, Chris?
It's another day.
Man, not a lot of you guys know this yet, but you see this beautiful frame. You probably don't see it because it's really tough to see because it's built so well, but it's actually hiding the fact that there's 3 TVs here on our little studio wall. And Chris came in, custom built this frame with the box and did the background and the whole deal. So thanks for coming on, and thanks for doing a great job for us. We've gotten tons of compliments on the studio since then, and really leveled us up, man. So tell us about what the hell Rich Construction does and why you're so good at it.
So we're a trim business. We specialize in doing like anything interior trim, and then we started doing like exterior ceilings and stuff, but we don't do like paint. We don't do like, flooring. We just stick to like kind of like one thing, and we just master that one thing. Like, just like he does roofing, he's not gonna come and like paint the side of your house because he specializes in roofing.
Not yet, but maybe strong painting coming soon. Who knows?
Painting by Strong.
Painting by Strong.
Nah, no painting.
No painting.
But yeah, like I worked for a guy for like 3 years, and then figured out like after every paycheck I was buying tools, and then when like I had enough tools to do everything and figure out everything, I started getting a lot of phone calls, and then finally we did like a job. I think we did like crown molding and a whole house in Panther Ridge. It was like 88 sticks, like 16 foot long. We did them like 2.5 days. He made like $6,000 or $8,000, and I made like $400. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna soak in sweat. So I got a call from a guy doing a duplex, and I just started doing it. So
when you say trim, you mean crown molding, baseboard,
doors, yeah. Anything interior, like
so doors.
Yeah,
we install interior doors.
Interior, exterior doors.
Okay.
So,
but where would you say your specialty is? Mainly like the crown molding.
Yeah, interior trim. Yeah.
So like, what is that stuff called? Like shiplap?
Yeah, we do a lot of shiplap. We do beams, entertainment centers, stuff like that.
What I always see online is your those exterior ceilings. Yeah. What do you call that? Like a cedar?
So that's like a tongue and groove ceiling, and it like comes like it's the product we use is like Synergy. Mm-hmm. It comes like stained and like ready to roll. Like you like order it, comes in with like 2 to 3 days, and then you install it. You don't have to have a painter like lay out all the boards and stain it and stuff.
It's probably better quality too because it's outdoors.
Mm-hmm. Is it wood or is it synthetic?
So it's wood. They make a synthetic material, but this is wood. It comes in like 2 different. It's either like southern yellow pine or cypress.
And when you order from the manufacturer, do you order per job? Like I'm assuming they have accessories for it, like the light fixtures and the trim board around the.
Yeah, so like they give you like you can do like the tongue and groove, and then you'll have like a 3 1/4 crown molding that wraps around it, or 1.5 inch, like colonial piece of trim, or they have 5 or 1x4. They have a ton of stuff.
Gotcha. Can you pick it up locally, or do you have to order it delivered to the site?
So I order it from like 3 different lumber yards around this area. There's like Kimmel and Fruitville. Okay. There's a Builder's First Source in Bradenton, and then they have 84, which is by the Tropicana area.
Well, I want to praise you that I've seen the pictures. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I know you've done it for some of our mutual clients too. Yeah. I always recommend you whenever I have the chance.
Thank you.
Felipe, say something.
Felipe, you could tell it's a construction podcast because Trey's just salivating over here.
That's his area of expertise. That's fantastic. I'm kind of more into the design part, and I noticed when you started getting your business really going, and I feel like it's not just the Synergy tongue and groove system for the ceilings, but that's what gets noticed because that's like a prominent design feature that like everybody wants on their outdoor patio. You buy a house and, even if you do a semi-custom, it's kind of got the builder grade look, and little features like that, those details really pull it together and give it that nice classy touch. Yeah. And I think that's really exploded because people are tired of boring homes.
Yeah. And then when we do these ceilings too, like I started getting into like, all right, like, like they come with like, we can put like Wi-Fi can lights up in the ceiling, and you can change colors. So I'll have an electrician come in and, add can lights out there, and you can set them on zones where they change colors or, dim them. Then we're adding fans out there. We did one house where they had like heaters outside. We did like heaters on the wall.
That's cool.
So you can set the mood. You got romantic night.
Didn't you do one where the TV goes? Like
yeah, we did. Yeah, we
TV.
did. Yeah, we did one for my buddy. You know, it had a motor. The TV just came down. You hit a button, and the TV came down from the ceiling. So during the day, when you're like, it's sunny out, and you got the view of the water, you know, with the TV blocking, you know, the view. So you just hit the button, the TV goes up.
When it's game time, baby.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I think one thing the pandemic taught us, and I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, is, you know, home is not just like where you lay your head down. It's a sanctuary, but it's increasingly become a resort, right? I mean, people expect their homes to be like the center of their entertainment life. Yeah. You know, if you're lucky enough to have a nice home like that, and they want those features that kind of take it to the next level.
How do you get your business generally?
So it's like I work with like a couple like custom home builders. So like right after like drywall's done and they textured, like we'll show up and there'll be like a garage full of like just trim and doors, and like so we do that, and then also like word of mouth and then Facebook and stuff, and just.
So it's a lot of grassroots, though. I mean, a lot of word of mouth. That's always a good, you know, it's always a good sign. You don't have a ton of wrap trucks out there like Strong Roofing.
Now, I know you used to boost your stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that they're doing a surcharge through Apple?
No, I didn't notice that, but I know back in the day, like, well, not back in 2017, you could boost a photo. I was boosting a photo for like $10 when I thought I was going to get slow, and about 2,000 people would see that photo for $10.
Yeah.
And I would get 3 phone calls and sell at least one job off that and make, you know, $3-4 grand.
So you don't boost them anymore?
Every marketer watching this is like, don't boost posts.
So, I mean, yeah, sometimes like when I like, you know, feel like it.
Well, you should boost them from your desktop. That's a pro tip. Save $3.
Save $3.
Strong Roofing giving out the marketing secret sauce, you know.
So if you boost the post from your iPhone,
yeah. So I looked into it. If you boost it from your phone in the app, Apple views it as if you're buying a product purchase within the app, an in-app purchase. So they tack on 30%.
Wow.
But if you go on the computer, you're not inside the app, you're going from a browser, you don't get that 30% surcharge. Now, this changed a couple months ago, and I was
that might change again, because there's actually I think there's a lawsuit about that.
It cost him $9 before he realized that he was paying this extra surcharge.
No, I canceled it. I waited until I got on my computer. And it's almost good. It's probably bad for business for all of them, because I used to impulse boost. You know, $50 here, $100 here. Oh, I like this one. Let me boost this one. Now I don't do it anymore.
Even after we've had people on that have said don't boost posts, you still did it?
Yeah, but what's my time worth to go on to log into some sophisticated thing I don't understand to, you know, do metrics and geo fields, or do I just press $50 and get a roof?
I don't know. If it works, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
see, that's a perfect example. You make the friction of the purchase very light. People are just gonna hit that button.
You
right?
got it.
But that kind of brings me to what I want to ask you about a little bit. You know, your product, it's different than a roof, right? Everybody needs a roof. You know, you can't have a house without a roof. Yours is kind of more of a want. I mean, and you have to have a certain level of clientele who's going to understand those design features and the level of quality that you bring.
Let me correct you real quick.
Please do.
He has his bread and butter with the custom GC builders. So they're feeding him that consistent work. Meanwhile, he's doing straight to customer stuff, straight to homeowner. That's when he gets fancy with the ceilings and tear out the old ceiling, put the new ceiling in. So he has his bread and butter, and then he's got direct to homeowner.
That sound right?
Yep.
That's great. Look at this guy.
From construction to construction.
Bro.
But he's right though. It's it is a luxury product, right? It's like, I don't need a tongue and groove ceiling. I want a tongue and groove ceiling, right? On my patio, we got a, you know, whatever, stone, like rock, whatever the hell's up there, regular ass ceiling, right? Not a tongue and groove ceiling. I would have to want to have something a little fancier with a fold down TV or whatever. And that is a different type of clientele than your, you know, I bought a cookie cutter home. It's brand new. I'm not going to touch it, right? These are people that are looking to spend money on something they don't necessarily need. So how knowing that, like, how do you market differently, or what's your ideal client? Like, what's your favorite thing or favorite type of work to do? Would it be the custom home builder where you're just basically doing the trim and, you know, molding, or is it these fun tongue and groove ceilings where you really get to go crazy and do fun stuff?
I mean, the ceilings are the ceilings are honestly the best, but I like being able to, like, you know, show up to a job and just camp there for like a month. So, you know, you just
bigger the better.
So you just you show up, you know, you're setting outdoors, you know, you're installing crown, you're doing all the window jams, extension jams, and wall details, and, you know, just attic stairs and door locks.
Yeah, like a
and all
long
that stuff.
punch out list. You're
Yeah.
just knocking out items one after the other. So how big is your crew that you generally run with?
I have 3 guys that work for me right now. So
And I met a couple of those guys
Yeah.
here. They were solid. You know, I mean, this is a small job and it's not a big deal, but it was like we didn't know what the hell to do. It was like, come here with some material, figure it out, and that's kind of what happened.
yeah, you kind of just showed me a picture, and then we just ran with it.
So that custom work, you know, it's got to be a little bit more appealing, a little bit more like exciting outside the box. I can get that, you know, a long custom home. You're there for a month. That's nice for keeping your crew busy and having something to do. But these little custom jobs really get to be creative and, you know, showcase your talent. How long have you been in the business? How long have you been doing like this finished? I guess it's kind of like finished carpentry type work, right?
Yep. So like I started in 2014. I met this guy, and I had this lifted truck. I was working at this job, and he's like, "Hey, like, what kind of lift do you have on your truck?" I'm like, like I think it's this. And then like a month later, he showed up and had the same lift on his truck. So he came up to me and he's like, so we went outside. He's like, "Hey, whenever you want to make some real money, like let me know." So he's like, "You know how to read a tape measure?" And I'm like, "No." I mean, this is 2014. I'm 18 years old. So I ended up, you know, working with him. I worked for him for 3 years. A good guy. Still send him work. We still talk. So
it's good to keep that relationship going.
Yep.
So 10 years, you worked for him for 3 years, so you've been on your own for what, 7 years?
Yeah, since 2017, yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge? I mean, like, you know, getting going, you were just buying tools. And I mean, I remember when I went from, I guess here's a good example. I worked for a moving company, then I owned a moving company. The things I didn't think about was like, how do you invoice? How do you keep track of this shit? Like, how do you estimate? Like, I knew how to move furniture. We all do, but I didn't know all that other stuff. So what were some of the biggest challenges going through kind of starting your own business after working for somebody?
I mean, I worked for I was like solo by myself for like a year. And then finally I'm like, man, I need help. So like the hardest part for me is like finding employees. I think that's hard for everybody. Finding like good people that care, like not someone that's like, you know, we're working in like nice houses. So like we're installing crown molding.
No smoking cigarettes in the house.
One rule, simple. You guys put the little booties on your shoes and stuff?
Yeah, we do. So we have like, you know, like moving blankets we set some of our tools on, but like just stuff little like that gets me is like when we're installing like crown molding and your hands are dirty and you're putting your handprints on the wall. I'm like, you know, like we got to now like have someone come paint that, like,
right.
You know, so
some of that stuff is physically important to like keeping the job site clean, but I think a lot of it is psychological too, because the people in the house see it, or the people you work for see it, and it says, all right, this guy cares, he gives a damn.
It's like
he's going to do a better job.
It's like a diffuser.
Yeah, and he could charge more.
You're automatically like you're automatically like, you know, when somebody comes to my house to do a job, I'm not worried about the job they're doing. I'm worried about the other shit. You know what I mean? Like this guy moved in a dishwasher into the spot, scratched up my freaking floor, and he's like, "Hey, when did they deliver this? This is all scratched up." I'm like, "Dude, it wasn't scratched up. It wasn't delivery people. It was you. But we'll deal with it." But like it's little shit like that. I wasn't worried about him wiring up the countertop and doing the electrical work. I was worried about the other shit, and that's what you're talking about. But Trey gave you a pro tip. I'll give you a pro tip. Magic eraser. Okay, don't worry about having somebody come in and repaint it. Get a little magic eraser, spit on it, give it a little hawk, and just wipe it on the wall.
Clip it.
Magic eraser.
In other news, Felipe got a dog this week.
You want to tell us the story? I don't think a magic eraser is going to clean up that mess. Chris Rich doesn't want to hear about my dog. That's a very complicated conversation. But I did have a question kind of related to what
What'd you do to the dog?
What do you mean? I didn't do anything.
What do you mean complicated?
Hey, there's a dog that needs rehoming if anyone's looking.
No, it does not. It does not. I love it. It's great.
I love it. It's been one day.
Yeah. No, it's been a week. But no, we talked the other day about these tissue box houses, as Morgan calls them, right? You familiar with what she's talking about?
Like cookie cutters.
All those modern houses with the box design and oftentimes no molding. Like, have you run into a lot of that? Because I know they're getting some good money for that new construction. I mean, they figured out, and I'm just using they because I don't want to call out these companies. I'm not trying to denigrate them. But, they figured out a good niche. People want a modern design look. It's cheap to build that kind of modern, right? Because you basically just take off all the molding and take off all the architectural details, and it's just boxes on boxes, right? Have you come across any of that?
Well, I don't really do like any work for like what you're saying, like a cookie cutter home. It's like the type of like work they want is like real fast. You know, no one seems like to care about their quality.
Right.
But we stick to like custom.
So who are some of the general contractors you work for around town?
We got Chemic, custom builders, and we got Ross Built, and then I do like some stuff for Johnson Homes. So
I got my BNI has a good GC that I work for, and I don't work for a lot of GCs because I don't work well with them usually. But Rampart Homes. So I'll make an introduction to you. He's right up your alley. Super custom stuff.
yeah.
I'm sure we could, there's some other contractors that work with the same kind of model that you do. I was watching some of remember when we first trying to start the podcast, we had a little thing with Phil Sherry.
Yeah.
I was playing with my editing software and I was looking at some of that. Yeah. I think we need to have him on, the youngest pool contractor in town.
It seems like he's like doing really well.
Dude, his content's cracking me up.
Yeah,
he posted something.
You don't want a boring pool or something?
Don't want a boring pool. And he's like, get this fountain on Amazon for $20. Get this slide. I'm like, oh man. That slide does not look attractive next to the pool.
I don't know that dress.
I don't know that dresses up the pool. It kind of makes it look like less, but nonetheless.
Oh, that's the one he did today.
The little blow up inflatable pool. Like you put that next to your pool, it doesn't make it look like it's worth more. It makes it look like you cheaped out.
I don't think people care. I don't think the point was for it to look like it's worth more. The point is like for the kids to have fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean,
maybe
I guess so. But he started it off saying, "Don't have a boring pool." Oh. Don't have a boring pool, make it more fun.
Yeah.
It's got to,
yeah.
He did
it's definitely not aesthetically pleasing.
He did some stuff for us. So when we were doing those ceilings outside, we do all those like the color changing lights. Well, he did some in the pool for us too. So like the pool, like if the lights on the ceiling were blue, like the pool light was blue, you could change it with your phone and stuff. It turned out good.
That's pretty
awesome.
Cool.
Are you from Sarasota, born and raised?
No, Manatee County.
Oh.
I mean that's Sarasota area. Come on now. Like we gotta get unified here.
Bummer. Let's get him on the Manatee SpeaX.
No. Sarasota SpeaX is for the greater Sarasota area. The census district, which includes both counties. So.
That's true. Hey, we're having a good time getting to know Chris from Rich Construction. If you want to get to know him a little bit better, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
This is Chris Rich with Rich Construction Services, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions, 10 specific answers, nothing off limits. This is Rapid Fire, fueled by food and beer. Do you have any pets?
No.
Alrighty then. Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, food and beer arcade. What's your favorite?
PlayStation.
Toilet paper, over or under, or stuck to your shoe?
Over.
You have chosen wisely.
Go-to drink of choice?
Tito's.
Not the POS you're driving right now, but what's your dream car?
Mustang.
What's a skill you don't have, but wish you did?
Be able to dunk a basketball.
Sometimes I dream that he is me.
I've always wanted to be able to dunk.
Better Batman, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, or that one guy, Ben Affleck?
Christian Bale.
I'm Batman.
If you're chosen to be on a mission to Mars, would you go?
No.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
Siesta Key Village or St. Armand's Circle?
Siesta Key Village.
From a man with a little bit of dirt under his fingernails to a like-minded man. I want a few questions. What are some of the jobs you're most proud of? Can you think of one job actually that you're most proud of?
I would say 1-800 Ask Gary's house. We did that whole ceiling. On the back lanai, it turned out, it was crazy. It was like 50 feet up in the air.
Oh man.
It was
Would
definitely
you have
a
to do
sketchy.
scaffolding or something?
Yeah, he had a scaffolding company come up and set up some because we weren't going to do that.
Climbing up like monkeys.
It was crazy.
That's cool.
What kind of? I just picture Chris like monkey barring up to the 50 foot.
This scaffolding had like a stairwell. It was like stairs. It was legit.
That's nice. Well, how much? Like how long did it take you?
We demoed the ceiling in like a week, and then we had to wait for electricians to put lights up, and then we did the ceiling in like another week.
So what's the longest job you've ever? Like what's the longest you've ever spent on a job?
Like 2 months.
All right.
On a job.
What's the most expensive job you've ever done?
$80,000. It was a 2-month job in Palmetto
80,000. All
on the
right.
water.
Who's the owner? No, I'm just kidding. You have to name drop.
What's
It's
his roof
fine.
look like?
What did this $80,000 worth of trim work entail? I mean, was it just like the whole house and every little touch? Was it a particular style of house?
I mean, we did every closet had 7 1/4 crown molding. It had big base.
Inside the closet?
Yeah.
Oh, good thing. Right.
We put
You
that.
need that.
We put a tongue and groove ceiling in his garage. I mean, that was like 20 grand right there. And we did like he had a gun room. He had a gun room that we put cedar in. He had a hunting room that we put like huge beams in and cedar, tongue and groove in. We did the whole house.
So you do those like exposed wooden beams that kind of
Yeah.
go through the kitchen?
Yeah,
What are those called?
So we just build like regular beams. So we'll put like a 2x6 on the ceiling, and we'll just put like a 2x6 or 2x8, however wide they want them, and then we'll find the studs, get screwed into the studs, and then we'll just use like cypress or cedar or
So
poplar.
they're simply aesthetic. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, it's a
structural.
faux
they're
beam,
not-
right? So
yeah.
they take a cheaper piece of wood and establish the base and trim it out with the nice stuff.
They actually make like
Faux beam. I like that.
they actually make some like faux beams now that are kind of like real easy. They come in like styrofoam and they're already like stained with that like wood look.
Glue it right
And
to the
then
freaking ceiling.
You just measure it and cut it, and then you just put it up. It's so easy. It's like
Is that kind of like the stuff that Animal makes?
no, he does like the outdoor.
What's the Animal's
nice
government name? Mike?
What's his government name?
He does more of the outside, like
Yeah.
crown mold, trim
all that
on
stuff.
stucco. Yeah, fake stucco.
It must be cool to be in a community like this where the construction trades are such a big part of like everyone's life. It's kind of like, it's kind of like working on Wall Street in New York City. I mean, it's the center of that. Like Sarasota, the construction development industry is the center of what we do here. Yeah. Like, did you ever have any set thoughts about other areas that you might have started in, or you knew it was going to be Sarasota and Manatee counties when you first got going on your own?
Or did you just focus on Manatee because that's your roots?
I mean, we were like a lot like out east in the beginning, like concessions, Panther Ridge, like Twin Rivers and Pear, like a lot out there. And then, I did a couple jobs on Siesta, and then I just kind of went everywhere. I won't go anywhere I try not to go anywhere past Clark, and I try not to go past Ellington.
Oh, come on. You can go to freaking Northport if you wanted to. You can go to Venice.
No, I mean he's right when you're not huge company.
Yeah.
If you can, you keep it closer, right? Because then your headaches become less headaches.
Yeah.
If someone says, "Oh man, this is kind of funny. Can you swing by and look at it?" You swing by and look at it. If it's an hour and a half away, you say, "Send me a picture," and then you go, "No, that looks fine to me. Yeah, I'm not coming out there for an hour and a half to stroke you."
And speaking of huge company, right? Like, you got 4 guys working with you. You do great work. You're not struggling. I've seen your truck. You keep everything's nice. Your freaking van's got like wheels and tires on it, like better than most people's, trucks. So you're doing well. But what are your plans for growth? Are you want to get big? Do you want to be able to service more than Sarasota Manatee or more than 4 crews or 4 guys on your crew?
I haven't really thought about it. I'm in like kind of like a sweet spot right now where I got like 2 vans running at all times. So, I mean, it's just 2 crews of 2.
Yeah.
And that seems to be working good.
Do you do windows? I didn't hear you say windows.
We don't do
Window
it. Like
trim.
we don't do any windows. Like we'll like dress a window up, like do like like whatever kind of detail they want on a window. So
Understood. All right, cool.
So you're in the sweet spot. You're not. You don't want to. You don't necessarily. Or not looking for growth. Just.
I mean, I could grow, but like I haven't thought about growing.
See, I'm in the wrong business, man.
Now,
The wrong business.
what's your do you have seasons in your trade? Or
No, I'm busy like all the time. Like I know you guys have like AC guys always have like a season. Like you guys have a season like when it's raining.
Yep.
real bad. So like,
It's called the summer.
Hurricane season. I love it.
Oh, but I mean, listen, Sarasota's been growing and building for 20 plus years, and that's probably even an understatement. But I mean, the areas you described that you go to, there's a reason you go there, right? That's where the bigger custom homes are, where people have that eye for detail, where they're putting the crown molding inside their closet. I mean, they're not doing that in Lake Sarasota, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Whoa, a lot of people in Lake Sarasota pissed. We got a lot of viewers. We got a lot of viewers there.
If you live in Lake Sarasota and you have crown molding inside of your bedroom closet, send us a picture. We'll post it.
We'll give you a shout out. And if you have your own business, we'll get you on the podcast.
Great.
That's
I'm
a good
just saying.
call.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, have you seen any newer and up and coming neighborhoods where you're starting to get more work, or have you seen any trends in the neighborhoods where you're doing work?
yeah, I think once you do like a couple houses in one neighborhood, you seem to like you're always in that neighborhood. Just
You doing the yard signs in the yard while you're doing the work, like Trey?
I've done those before. I do those. I think it's just like brand recognition at that point. Like I don't get any work off it. It's just they see like, oh, this guy's set up. And
Right. Yeah, you don't have your trucks lettered or anything, do you?
No, I don't. Just
Why?
because.
Why do you do that? Just is that on purpose, or you like the cleaner look? Or what?
Yeah, I like the cleaner look.
So
and
when he's riding dirty on a Thursday night, you don't want to be flagged.
in the work, man.
when you got like your employees say they're speeding or they cut somebody off, like someone could post on your like page like, oh, this guy sucks at driving.
Yeah, how often does that happen, Trey?
We
And
get
how
calls
often
to
is
the
it not
office
you?
a few times. It's been me a few times.
I don't like being late for my appointments with customers.
Knock on wood, we haven't had a bad review yet, but it's well worth the risk. So I used to think like you, I'm like, oh, man, the truck's kind of old. I'll just wait to get it wrapped until I get a new truck. Oh, man,
Well,
I
nothing
don't
makes
want
a truck look new like a fresh wrap.
You got it. I don't want to wrap this truck because people might see me on my phone while I'm driving. I don't want to wrap this truck because I'm going to cut somebody off. They're going to give me a 1-star. Yeah. Get over it. Wrap the truck, bro.
Speaking of which, last week I saw you. I was going down B Ridge, you were getting on the interstate after the podcast last week. Remember that? You didn't see me?
Was I picking my nose?
You were on your phone. No, I don't think so. You were talking to Morgan. She was in the passenger seat. But I was like, beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, half the time, people beep when they see me. And I'm just like looking around like, who did I cut off? Who's mad? Did I put my seatbelt on?
And then it's just one of your friends.
Yeah, it's like it's just double middle finger.
Well, listen, growing up in Manatee County, so close to Sarasota, I'm
it was
sorry.
on the water. It was on the water.
Okay, fair enough. But you should just say, like, you from Sarasota? Yep, I'm from Sarasota.
He was in the honors classes at Palmetto High.
There. Are those the same as the standard classes? Yeah. Oh man, this is funny. We might piss some people off with this one. So, but growing up in the Sarasota area, you've seen the changes. You've seen, what's going on here. You're in the construction world, so you see the development going up as well. And you've also seen the changes to the roadways. So Trey's got a Sarasota-based question that he's curious of here.
Terminator Law wants to know, what are your thoughts on roundabouts? Do you love them or do you hate them? And why?
I mean, I hate them, honestly. They've been putting a lot, like, roundabouts everywhere, but, like, people just don't know how to use them. So maybe when people, like, start figuring out how to use them, but people will just stop and just, like, you can go.
You still got a lifted truck, right?
No, I sold it.
You sold it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I was going to say, the lifted truck, I feel like they're a challenge to those big tires.
And some of those, like, roundabouts, too, like, you got those, like, those big orange trucks coming from out east on State Road 64 hitting that, like, roundabout. They can't hit that fast, so they slow down, and then they lose a bunch of, it's just.
We saw one on Biter's camera. They lost the paint can. Do you ever see that one? On the, what's the page called? SRQ Circle. If you go, it's that roundabout right there. He was going around, this one too, going around the roundabout, it's the same one, I think. Going around the roundabout, a paint can spilled out, freaking went all across 3 lanes. Yeah, right there. It's got I just saw somebody in there. But yeah, so, roundabouts are, it's a mixed review. Some people love them, some people hate them. At least you have an opinion. Some people don't. Felipe's got the next one.
I got another construction question.
Go. We're going back to construction, okay.
We're similar enough in age that neither one of us experienced.
Who's similar in age?
Chris and I.
Oh, yeah, same with me and Felipe. We're real close.
So Chris and I are in the same age bracket, whereas we didn't experience 2008. You know, like the crash, and we've been patting ourselves on the back, riding high all these years. What do you think? Do you worry about the market downturn in construction? What are your feelings on that?
I think that, like, you, as a business owner, you always have to worry about, like, something like that because you never know, and, I kind of think just in this area, like, it's just, there's so much money in Sarasota that I don't think we'll see a big impact, but it's always something to worry about.
I mean, that's optimistic too, because this was a great area in 2008, and everyone was out of work, going bankrupt. So
you better be scared.
Get scared.
Better be
no,
scared.
you're in a good position because you're trim. You're a trim company, So
yeah, but it's not a necessity. Necessity. Like AC is like a necessity. Like water,
roofing.
Oh,
insurance.
You're still. I would argue you're still a higher end product for some of your work, and the higher end tends to feel a little bit less when we have these hiccups. I mean, look at right now, inflation's out of control, but
people still spend money.
Inflation's great when you own assets that also get inflated, right? I.e., the high end. It's not so much when you're doing wage labor.
Yeah,
it's just tough. So
agreed.
I think people are going to still be getting crown molding in their closets, even if we have a little recession.
All right,
that's my take. Oh, it's my other question.
Fire away.
You're up.
So, kind of the last question we always ask every guest, if you've seen the podcast before, you see what we do here, you know what Sarasota SpeaX is all about.
Yep.
Who else do you think that who we might not know, who would be great on this platform, who Sarasota needs to know?
I would like to see Justin Hildebrand on here with JH Diesel.
Let's get it.
Yeah,
you heard him, Justin. We got to get you on, buddy.
He's got a huge following on Instagram and on YouTube, and the stuff he does is pretty cool, and it's nothing like you guys have seen here. So I think
he's been doing that since before it was cool on Instagram and YouTube. Though that's what I love about him. He took off like on the social media stuff after, but he was always
So he basically does what Andre does.
No, he's more diesel mechanic.
Why don't you break down who he is and what he does, how you know him?
He's JH Diesel, so he works on diesel trucks. It's like, he customizes them, turbos, the whole thing.
Let's hear from the guy that actually has or had a diesel truck. Chris is an expert on this stuff.
I've had two.
You've had 2 diesels?
Yeah.
Oh, my mistake.
Justin worked on one of them.
Okay, there you go.
Felipe had a Mini Cooper.
The diesel one, too.
Not yet, Trey. I have had some diesels in my life, though. It's another discussion.
He just does like cool things that people I think would like, to be interested in hearing. He took like a Prius and turned it into a boat.
He's basically like he does Cletus type stuff, like we got to get Garrett on here too. We've talked to him. He's agreed to come on at some point in time, I think. So
I don't think he likes Felipe. I already didn't like Felipe.
I think Felipe is the problem. Maybe we kick Felipe out of the seat and we put Justin and Garrett on together at the same time.
Yeah, we'll get him when Felipe's on vacation.
Well, listen, Chris, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks again for the sick,
thanks, Chris.
the sick
Appreciate you.
window wall here.
Hey, Chris hooked us up with a shirt.
Hey, if anybody wants to find Chris, where do they find you?
Instagram, Facebook.
Nice.
Is it Rich Construction?
RichConstructionLLC.com.
All right, RichConstructionLLC.com. Thanks for the shirts. You'll be seeing me rock one of those for sure. And thanks again for coming on.
Yep.
Appreciate you.